At some point, you were using your timeshare, but now you're not, and you're tired of wasting money. Before you go to the poorhouse, call right now and learn how you can stop the maintenance fees and put more money back in your pocket. Their services cost you a lot less than you think, and you'll save a lot of money over time. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline now. It's a free consultation.
800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
Hey, listen to me. I'm one of the credit cards in your wallet. I'm about to explode and pop like a balloon. You're using me and my brothers way too much. Your credit cards aren't the only ones annoyed. It's your paycheck. Doesn't have enough to pay everything. Save your credit cards, your paycheck, and yourself a lot of PAIN. Pain. Call the debt helpline now, not tomorrow, right now. Our experts will show you how you can cut your interest rates and your payments on your credit cards in half. Credit card companies have special assistance programs designed to help you. Make this 100% free call right now and learn how you could get out of credit card debt. Here's the number.
800-406-6569. 800-406-6569. 800-406-6569. That's 800-406-6569. Paid for by Zero Debt.
The Lou Information Station presents CoFoundHers, your inside line to the need to know, the who to know, and the how the hell do we do it all. Now, here are your hosts, Lisa Lidvag and Angela Sandler.
Hey, St. Louis. We're here on this steamy Thursday morning. I just named our listeners that you can find us on the Lou Information Station at louinfo.com. We also are on YouTube now, so you can actually see us. Hi, everybody wave. You can see us on YouTube, again, under louinfo.com or louinfo at louinfo. Blah, blah, blah. Words are hard this morning. We also have an Instagram, guys. We have one officially, and it is at CoFoundHers Podcast. And then last but not least, we do have a text line. So for those of you that are listening live, don't do this after the fact, by the way. Don't text us tomorrow because we ain't listening. We don't hear you. Text us today, 314-590-3770.
And welcome back to the Co-Founders. Now that a little housekeeping is done, this is the podcast where real women in business talk about building, scaling, reinventing, and leading with intention. I'm Angela Sandler.
And I'm Lisa Litvag. And we're so excited for this guest today. Guys, I'm telling you.
It's going to be great.
Powerhouse, amazing, has helped us in every single step of our business development in our 3-4, how many businesses now?
I don't know.
I mean, let's count. And how many more in the future, right?
Right.
But, this person has been an incredible influence over both Angela and I, has been a friend to us, has been an incredible connector.
Yes, 100%.
Everybody needs a connector in their life, whether it's their personal life, their business life, wherever it is. I mean, I can remember, and maybe you have similar memories, Angela, of like when you first had your child and that first person that greeted you at the preschool that connected you with other moms. I mean, I don't think that we give credit to those people the way we should. There is a connector in every single person. Everybody is listening. You have a connector.
Yes. And Erin has definitely been our connector.
Yes.
And we are so excited to have her here today. Erin and
Dr. Erin
Joy. And have a very long history together. I believe it when I was doing some research yesterday, it goes back to 2017, which is pretty incredible. And it's been a joy along the way.
Pun intended.
To be able to be in your presence and be able to work with you and collaborate with you and really just kind of interact back and forth throughout all of our businesses. And we are so excited to have you here today. For anyone who doesn't know Dr. Erin Joy, which I'm sure there's very few out there that don't,
Mhm.
but Erin is a force in our community and in both of Lisa and I's lives, like she said. I've personally been involved with her roundtables for years, spanning before COVID.
Which, for
was
those of you
interesting.
that don't know what a roundtable is, it is a business group that allows other business owners to connect and really kind of unpack their business needs with fellow entrepreneurs, people that are in the same boat that they're in. Erin does a really great job of, again, connecting these people and facilitating those really super important conversations.
It's been a major changing force in our business and something that I'm deeply appreciative of. And despite all that, Erin is also a doctor. She went back and got her doctorate just last year, merging psychology and business together with the focus on women. So we are so excited to talk to you today. Welcome you, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. What a just uplifting introduction. And I man, we're going to have a juicy conversation here. So let's go.
Let's go. Well, that's the beauty of what Erin does is, what I've found over the years with working with Erin, it's been really, it's fun because the interactions, while they're business related mostly, there's still that personal touch. She understands a female entrepreneur. She understands entrepreneurs in general, but the female psyche and just all of the things we're doing and juggling at the same time, I really have always felt that you've considered that in the conversations. Like it's a part of, and maybe I'm wrong, you can tell me, but it feels like it's just a part of you and it's so unique to you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that because I think you're feeding back to me, the expression of my commitment, which is to work with business owners and to be with business owners in a very holistic manner. Because entrepreneurship, as everyone listening, if you're an entrepreneur or have been an entrepreneur, knows, it's an incredibly challenging journey. And,
Ain't that the truth?
I mean, you are going to experience high at a new level. And it's a lot to figure out how to navigate and, trying to compartmentalize and be, a friend over here and a daughter over here and maybe a spouse over here and an entrepreneur over here. It doesn't work because entrepreneurship splashes over into all of those other non-work domains, and those non-work domains splash over into entrepreneurship in a heightened way than for people who are working for someone else.
Yeah, and I don't think that you fully embrace or recognize that piece of it until you're in the throes of it. It was a whiplash for me. I will tell you, frankly, just kind of bearing full kimono, I got into this going, I'm going to start a business and it's going to be so amazing. And my business partner is amazing. Everything's going to be great. And, we have a great idea. So let's just go and get it. Boy, that smash in the face came fast.
Yeah, and it does. It hits you. The reality of entrepreneurship hits hard. There's this line in my research that's based on another academic where they talk about how women entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general, but we'll talk women entrepreneurs today, get into business for the freedom of owning their own business.
Yes.
And they quickly find out that it's actually the freedom to work around the clock because it's your business. You're not clocking in for someone else and you become consumed. Typically, entrepreneurs are, quote, obsessed with their businesses on par with clinical obsession.
Oh, wow.
Right? Can't you relate to that?
Yeah.
And so many entrepreneurs are, they are eating, sleeping, breathing their businesses. They're thinking about it all the time. They can't stop themselves. I can't tell you how many young women have sat across from me and said, I just feel horrible because I'm with my kids, but I can't stop thinking about my business. And I let them know that's normal. That's natural for an entrepreneur.
Right.
Don't fight against it. Nothing's wrong with you. just have a place where you're going to capture those thoughts and those ideas and don't resist them. And they will start to flow through in a little more graceful way with some more ease. You're going to capture those ideas and you're going to go back to looking at your kiddos right in their eyes, you know, and that's normal. Nothing's wrong with that.
Right. It's a very difficult mindset, though, to get yourself back to where you're saying, where you have some grace and you're being polite to yourself and not so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest things about that at least I found from working with you, Erin, is that it's with the round tables and being around other women that are going through the same thing. That's really the biggest connection is to be able to hear, oh, well, you're struggling with that. And oh, you don't go to bed till 2:00 in the morning either. Yeah. And that's really the things that I know I found just comfort in the fact that I'm not alone. And entrepreneurship can be very isolating.
Extremely isolating. And there's a couple of things there that you just mentioned that I'd love to comment on. You know, entrepreneurship is often a very lonely journey. It's often a very solo journey. You know, if you own your company on your own, you're not necessarily telling all of your employees all the things that you're going through.
Right.
You know, it wouldn't be appropriate, and they can't necessarily relate because they are working for you and they're not entrepreneurs. They're not up in the middle of the night thinking about how to make payroll or how to break into a new market or, you know, how to hire a CFO. You are the one doing that. So, you know, you're already alone at the top of the organization. And then oftentimes, you know, your friends aren't necessarily business owners. They're often corporate leaders or corporate employees, or maybe they're not working or they're retired or whatever the case may be, because, you know, most people in the United States work for someone else.
Right.
So entrepreneurs just are already, you know, different and alone in their business at the top of their organization. And so, you know, that kind of can create a very complex dynamic to do business within and to sort yourself out within. Mm-hmm. The research shows that entrepreneurs in general walk around feeling like we're different and we don't fit in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's because of what we're just talking about right here, you know? And so, you know what? We are different and we oftentimes don't fit in. You know, we are the people who are going in the different direction. We see everyone else going to work for someone and we're like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take that, you know, more secure path. I'm going to go over here and start something from scratch or buy a business. And so, you know, we're out there on the edge anyway.
Right.
And then, you know, you do add in the component, Angela, that you were just talking about, which is, you know, I think because of that, it's not really maybe socially acceptable out there in the world when people say, well, how's business, for you to really tell them.
Right.
And that is
it's great.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's always great.
It's always great.
And it feels so inauthentic because that's just not my way to like be to not kind of open the kimono and tell everybody. So that's been a really big learning for me too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can't tell everybody everything. Like,
no,
I can't complain about my work because this is my company.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, so where, you know, we would spend time complaining about our job or the boss or whatever. I can't do any of that.
Right. Well, we can do it together.
Yes, exactly.
But for a lot of people that are solo entrepreneurs, they can't.
Right.
And,
that's right.
You know, and it's one of those things that you can't really go into details of what's not working or why you're burned out or whatnot, because you're, at least for our companies, we're forward facing, consumer and business facing. So you never want there to be anything out there in the community that would be negative.
Right.
And you're building a brand. You're building your individual brand as a business owner, as a CEO, and you're building the brand of the company that you are running or growing or starting. And so having those safe places where you can have honest conversations about entrepreneurship is so important.
Yeah.
And so valuable, because you realize when you sit around a table, or, you know, when the three of us talk, and we do let our hair down and we can talk openly about, you know, which is amazing and such a gift.
We have doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah, that's right. And
everyone, just so you know.
That's right. And the other way around, you know.
Right.
I've told, you know, you guys things that I don't tell other people. You have to know who your trusted, you know, confidants are and who your trusted advisors are. So when you're able to do that, you connect at that level, then, what naturally comes is, oh, well, if she can do it and look at what she's dealing with, I can do it.
Right.
And because, I know this person and I know what she's up to and I know her skill level. And so I can draw confidence out of that relationship and out of that authentic sharing and that connection, because we are social animals as human beings, and we need to connect with people. And that confidence will have me take new actions.
Right.
And those new actions will produce results.
Right.
And so this idea of having these kinds of connections that we're talking about right here, whether it's working with a business coach or a consultant or having a best friend who's also an entrepreneur or being in an entrepreneur roundtable like Erin Joy's Inner Circle, those things, those activities are correlated to your entrepreneurial success. So in other words, you can take that to the bank.
Right.
Right. And you can. And it's that core group that you get through the round table that really, it becomes kind of like a ride or die. You get seriously close with people very quickly and you trust them and, as resources as well. And you always have each other's back, which
That's
is
right.
really cool.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so nice.
It is good.
It's nice. Good. But in back to what Erin was just saying, it is really easy to go into isolation mode as an entrepreneur, whether you have a partner or you're solo. It is easy to, and especially if you're an introvert like I am. I know, audience, you're so surprised. I am an introvert, believe it or not. I don't love to be out in it. I don't love people knowing me. I don't love people knowing my business. But I have found over the years and through coaching with Erin that, there's a way to do it that feels authentic and comfortable. It doesn't have to be me. The way that I approach it is not the same as Angela.
Right.
And that's okay too.
Right.
And that's what Erin has helped me kind of open my eyes to and discover is that it's okay. You're not showing everybody everything where it's so uncomfortable for me. It's the important things that they need to see. So I love that.
Well, let's talk a little bit and dive into your dissertation and
best question I've ever been asked ever on a podcast. Let's talk about your dissertation.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what motivated you as a very busy women entrepreneur to go back to school to become a doctor in something. And I'd love to know kind of your thoughts about the why behind that and why you chose your topic. And if you could explain a little bit about what you studied.
Yeah. Well, it's 14 years ago. I was, in business for myself after the crash of the housing industry. I used to work in the home building industry and I still do today in different ways, but I was, kind of reinventing myself. And I had a professional speaking business and I was delivering keynote speeches and workshops and coaching, business coaching, and consulting. And I knew I needed something next to really build my credentials. And so I got the idea of going back to school at Washington University. They have what we could call kind of like old school would have been described as a night school program. And so it's for working professionals. And it used to be called University College. Now it has some complicated name that I don't know if anyone can remember. And I teach at WashU, so I can say that. And I still don't know what it's called, but it used to be called University College. And I learned that I could do and I could earn a master's in human resources management through WashU in the night school program, and that my degree would just say Washington University in St. Louis.
Love that.
Which, adds credibility and prestige in a town like St. Louis.
100%.
And so I started that and I loved it. I loved how actionable what I was learning was for my clients. And I would sometimes be in class and, be texting a client under the table. Hey, let's talk about this thing tomorrow, compensation management, and how we use compensation to, reach your business goals. And I just found it so, intellectually stimulating. And I did not I did not care about college. I did not care about high school. I wasn't, an A student. I didn't previously consider myself that, that smart or certainly that educated. and watch you, change that. I realized, I kind of like this stuff, and I like bridging this, this formal education with my street smarts, and then with small business entrepreneurship and how gritty and wild it is. And so through that program, first and foremost, I took all my learnings and scaled them to small business, and all the professors were on board with that. It was awesome. I'd get an assignment to work on, a project, a kind of a case study like an Amazon, and I would just ignore it and choose a local small business to do a project on.
Love that.
And so that kind of got me going. And then I learned about this field of study called business psychology, and that there were PhDs in business psychology. And I didn't think a lot about what all would be involved in earning a PhD. I just said yes to business psychology.
Isn't that like a rule? You're always supposed to say yes and then figure it out later, right?
Yes.
Well, that's an entrepreneurial tip.
Exactly.
Right?
We're going to launch something. We're going to, we're going to
figure it out.
That's what actually, that is kind of like a rule of thumb,
right.
Kind of description of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who is going to build the airplane while they are flying it.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's what I did. I said yes to this PhD program in business psychology. And I loved it until it was time to write my actual dissertation. Something like 80% of people who start a PhD program, it could be even higher, they never finish it.
I believe that.
I think it could be like 90 something percent. They end up in this state called ABD, all but dissertation. So they took all the classes, they did all the coursework.
Yeah.
But what it takes to conduct firsthand research and create brand new knowledge in the world that doesn't already exist, and then to write about that and get it passed through all of the rigorous academic standards, it was far, far worse than I ever could have imagined. It really was.
We were with you on that journey a little bit. There were moments when we were like, should we send something
Poor girl.
to her?
Poor
Does she need a B12 shot? What's going on?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yes.
Well, what was so what I studied within the field of business psychology is the journey of being a midlife woman entrepreneur, and what the heart and soul of that journey is really about.
Interesting.
As related specifically to well-being and success, and how do those two dimensions play with each other? Because my experience as an entrepreneur, I've been self-employed since I graduated from college in 1995, August of 1995. So next month will be 30 years in business for me.
Amazing.
That sounds like
a huge
celebration.
Like a big campaign.
I think it's a celebration, big marketing campaign.
There you go.
Says the marketing experts. And so it's been a very windy journey. And along that journey, you mentioned, Angela, being up until 2 a.m., and last night I worked until 11. I had a 15-hour day yesterday. And, I've been a single woman through these 30 years for the most part.
Right.
Almost exclusively.
Right.
In other words, I'm still single.
Right.
Accepting applications.
Any eligible entrepreneurs out there?
That's right.
You'll need to run it through Angela and I, and then we'll push on the good one.
You'll be my matchmaker.
Yes.
We're taking applications.
There you go.
Applications.
And so I have had to work really hard to make all the numbers work and to generate enough cash and enough profit. And not only a single woman, but a single mother.
Right.
And a single mother in a high conflict parenting situation, which has been very expensive, with the family law system here in St. Louis.
Both financially and I'm sure emotionally.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, that's the other piece of this
Yeah.
that you probably really dove into.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty heavy load. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
And I've experienced a lot of successes and a lot of failures.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm bringing that up as related to the research and, your mention of 2 a.m. and such, and having this cold brew coffee here at my left is because I really, I was on a path that had me say, well, when I have enough money, when I reach these measures of success, then I'll take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me to a health crisis, years ago.
Tomato.
That's right. And I realized, this is not how it works. We have to focus first on well-being. And I have this hypothesis that if I make a shift, that if we focus on well-being first, and well-being, we could call it happiness,
right?
Health, relationships, whatever your version of well-being is, that actually could be the driver of success. Mm-hmm. And so that was a shift that I made. And then I dove deep into creating brand new knowledge for entrepreneurs about that relationship.
Love that. And we are going to unpack that after our break. There's so much. I think there's so much more to talk about, but we'll talk more after the break.
Broadcasting live from the J. Randolph Jr. Studios in Kirkwood.
I once got catfished by a girl in Kirkwood. Before catfishing was really even a thing.
This is the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com with live and on-demand content on YouTube. And catch all of our local shows on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. KLIS 590 AM, Wood River, St. Louis.
You've been strong for everyone else, but let me ask you, who is strong for you? I am Jennifer Bardot, radio personality, author, and publisher, and the founder of Grit Association, which stands for Growth, Resilience, Intention, and Tenacity. What is Grit? Grit is a movement, a sisterhood, a space where ambitious women grow, lead, and thrive. This isn't just leadership. This is transformation. Grit is your circle of fire, where comfort zones get shattered, where stories become power, and the next level becomes your new normal. From our 7 international anthologies that elevate women's voices to my radio show, Elevate and Lead, on the Lou Information Station, everything we do is about your rising, your voice, your power, your people. Are you ready? Join Grit. For more information, visit mygritcommunity.com. That's mygritcommunity.com.
LouInfo.com news headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen, 222-2222.
This is your LouInfo.com news update. A former city official who was fired earlier this year now finds a job with the St. Louis Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Alfred Montgomery announcing the hiring of Sonia Jenkins Gray as the department's chief human resource officer. Jenkins Gray served as the city's chief personnel officer under then-Mayor Tishara Jones, but she was terminated after an investigation into her alleged use of a city vehicle for a personal trip to the state capitol last year. A Metro East Walmart worker is facing allegations of stabbing a co-worker. Authorities said it happened after an argument at the store in Collinsville yesterday. And a St. Louis man is facing up to 5 years in prison after being found guilty of aiming a laser pointer at a police helicopter. 44-year-old Joshua Johnson was convicted of pointing the laser at a marked helicopter flying over the Benton Park neighborhood last August. For the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com, I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, louinfo.com weather, presented by STL Sports Central. St. Louis sports, anytime, anywhere.
Here's your louinfo.com weather update. Plenty of heat and humidity for the next couple of days. An extreme heat warning is in effect today. Near 100 for the afternoon high, but the heat index 107 to 110, and we get sunshine. Overnight, slight chance of shower, upper 70s, and then a few popping up on Friday. Hot and humid again. We're headed for the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Is your brand stuck on the sidelines? Tired of feeling like your marketing budget is just warming the bench? Well, then it's time to get in the game with Eyesight Media. We don't just put your brand near the action, we put you in the action. Imagine this, your company front and center, showcased in NCAA and pro stadiums and arenas nationwide. If you're ready to elevate your brand to MVP status, don't miss this shot. Visit eyesightmediagroup.com today to apply for an in-arena partnership. That's eyesightmediagroup.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Brown and Crouppen, we get that after an accident, money's tight. That's why we offer so much for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital, we'll come to you for free. So call Brown and Crouppen, where we don't get paid unless you do. And your first consultation is free.
In your city with Kelly and Gordon. It's the hottest happy hour in STL radio. A high energy, high impact weekday radio show blending relationship values, celebrity buzz, community love, and sharp business insight. This is where storytelling meets strategy. It's the pulse of this city, bringing the energy, stories, and voices of STL to life. In your city with Kelly and Gordon. Weekday afternoons at 4, only on the Lou Information Station. Back to more of CoFoundHers with Lisa Lidvag and Angela Sandler on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Welcome back, friends. We're here with Dr. Erin Joy, talking all things about entrepreneurship, emotional and business well-being. And we were just kind of unpacking your dissertation.
I love that. And I would love to hear more about the dissertation. And just one of the things that I've always found that was really fascinating about your dissertation is that it was really a work in progress, meaning that you had live case studies for the research every single day, and kind of how you worked through that to select different attributes of people or certain people to focus on, or how you kind of broke out the research within the dissertation.
Angela, I didn't even think of that. She probably used real people and changed their names
100%.
in her dissertation.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, if you had,
it's published, people, we can go out and read it.
You can.
Well, but I love the fact that while you were doing your doctorate, you also were in real world experience with it. You weren't just huddled up in a library.
She's not just an academic.
Just reading books.
Mhm.
Like, you were actually on the job, living it every single day.
Yeah, thank you. It was such a dynamic time. It was post-COVID. I was rebuilding my own business. I was conducting this, first person research, and I was working with clients every day. I was striking up a business partnership with my now business partner in some construction and real estate related businesses. So there was a lot going on. I was parenting a tween who is now a teen, single parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a really wild time, and there was so much fodder for the research.
Mm-hmm.
I would just have a conversation with an entrepreneur like the two of you,
right? And
I could see what you were talking about in the in the research, and so I was taking a lot of notes. I was creating a lot of audio memos on my phone, and my research methodology was a methodology where I was not only the researcher, but I was also the subject of the research, because I myself am a midlife woman entrepreneur.
Right.
So I was constantly toggling between my own experience, the research of other academics whose shoulders I was standing on, and my experiences with my clients every single day. And so you're absolutely right about lots of real world stories of entrepreneurs changing, the names and personal details.
Sure.
But really it was, kind of, again, my purpose was to really get to the heart in a brand new way of the heart and soul of the entrepreneurial journey, particularly for the midlife woman entrepreneur. And midlife is a stage of human development between age 40 and 65. Mm-hmm. And it's a very dynamic stage. And it's one that, the three of us are all, experiencing right now.
Well, and it gets a bad rap.
It does. And it's actually a very exciting time.
Yeah. It's a next chapter
kind
of time, which is not a bad time.
But I feel like it's taking a different dimension than it has in the past as of today. Like, I feel like growing up, I would always hear, I'm in midlife.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you're right.
now it's a source of excitement where it always hasn't been.
Well, we're normalizing a lot of conversation around women's issues. And I'm sorry to all of our 3 male listeners right now. But there are a lot of, Eli's laughing. There are a lot of things that we're trying to normalize, which is, the conversations around menopause, the conversations around retirement. And what does that look like? Because retirement's not what it used to be, people. I'm here to tell you, I'm on that page and trying to figure out, like, what does that look like? Am I still working? Am I not working? There's so much that goes into this that I feel like Erin has kind of, even though you're working with entrepreneurs, you're also kind of uncovering a whole new way of thinking for all women at this age.
Thank you. I will do everything I can to contribute to the world. That's really my mission at the end of the day. And I think this midlife conversation is so interesting and it's so misunderstood. And I agree that, maybe for our parents' generation, 40 was, quote, over the hill.
Right.
I mean, how hideous
terrible.
and ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Terrible.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, midlife is such a dynamic time. So first of all, we were talking earlier about, how difficult it is to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to be a woman entrepreneur. And then it's more difficult to be a midlife woman entrepreneur. And therefore, we've got to be more proactive, more engaged, more thoughtful during this phase of life. There's a fundamental struggle to every stage of human development, from infancy to early childhood to, early adolescence to, young adulthood. And then the fundamental struggle for midlife, that age 40 to 65, is, am I going to stagnate or generate?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, as a human being, if you can nail that and you can generate, you cannot decline during midlife, but rather deal with all kinds of things. It's a very difficult phase of life because you're in midlife, you are reconciling how far you've come towards your goals and your vision. And you're reconciling, again, if you're doing it right, your successes and your failures. For me, that was a very difficult process. I've had huge visions for myself in my life, and lots of places I have nailed them and exceeded them, and lots of places where I have fallen very short. And so through this process of conducting my research, I was also looking at my own life.
Right.
And so thank God for good therapists, because I had to be it was essential to be in therapy as I was doing this work.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to go back to midlife and the idea of, stagnating or generating. What's so exciting about this opportunity in midlife is that if we nail it and we do generate and we don't just decline and stagnate, then we move into old age, which is the next phase of life. And we move in a way that we get to really enjoy those years with all of that wisdom and those life experiences and these beautiful friendships and connections and maybe adult children, and just being able to, soak up all the richness in life. And so it's a huge opportunity to do it right. And it's interesting, Angela, or Lisa, that you bring up menopause because, there's a line in my dissertation where I said, like this work would be incomplete without at least a mention of women's hormones during this age and this stage. And so, by the way, there's a male menopause also.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So
There is?
There is.
I did not
It's
know
just
that.
not
There
discussed.
is.
Yes.
Oh,
There is.
yes.
And it's not, maybe I think to your point, Angela, it wasn't, hormones and menopause weren't discussed as much, in previous generations, but I think our generation is normalizing that conversation. Personally, I make a point of talking to young women around me all the time.
Yes.
Let them know different things, what to expect, how early to start thinking about hormones. And it's really important.
It's so important. And I think that, back to your point about your hormone, it's not just hormones, it's all the changes that you go through at this midlife. So, it's, you go back
you're
to
aging.
Right. You're aging.
You're not as beautiful.
You're dealing with,
as youthful looking, I should say.
Your friends are changing. Your relationships are changing. I mean, there are so many things for all women, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, that you're dealing with during this life stage
Yeah.
that I feel, really impacts your decision making. It impacts the way that you're operating on a daily basis. And back to your original comment about wellness, wellness. Women, ladies, if you are not putting that as your number one priority right now, if you're a midlife person, please, 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 please move it to the top. It has to be your priority. I'm right now watching two elderly women that are close to me in my life who did not put it first and are struggling. And, one in particular that's struggling because she is very old school and doesn't believe in some of the things. So it's so critical to get that stuff in line.
Well, and it is a driver of success.
Mm-hmm.
So that's ultimately what my research supported,
Mm-hmm.
is that my hypothesis that well-being drives success. It's not the other way around, that success drives well-being.
Right.
That is supported in the research. So when you take a nap,
Mm-hmm.
that's good for your business.
Yeah.
When you go for a walk with a friend, that's good for your business,
Right.
because it's good for your well-being.
Right.
So whatever is good for you is good for your business. And I think it's important that we kind of rewire that thinking,
Mm-hmm.
because so many of us were raised, by a generation of parents where you just put your head down and
Right.
you work hard and it doesn't really matter how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And
You push it down.
That's right. We're changing that.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we flip the narrative and we focus on our happiness, our spirituality, our emotional life, our financial health. We focus on the quality of our relationships, and have those things drive the success in our business.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, all of those things are metrics to success. I feel like if you, like earlier when you were saying, some things I nailed, some things I didn't, these wellness pieces are pieces of should be your metrics to your success. It shouldn't just be about your bottom line. Like everything, again, that comes from this old school thinking that your success is measured by how many millions of dollars your company is bringing in. It's not about that. It's about all of the other components and making sure that everything lines up. And
that's
there's
hard.
the success.
I mean, that's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, just from, talking about just all the responsibilities, one of the things I found in the last couple of years as I'm hearing in regards to wellness, I need to be running sprints to keep my bone health strong. I need to be doing meditation. I need to be, and there's a lot of this you need to be doing kind of a thing. And it does get very hard. To
overwhelming.
To unravel it all and be like, okay, now wait, hold on. What is important for me?
Yeah.
And what is my definition of success?
But isn't that the key to all of this? Like, I don't know, Erin, you tell me, you're the doctor in this, but isn't it that the key is like identifying it for yourself instead of letting everybody else tell you what it's supposed to look like? Sitting back and going, you know what? Meditation doesn't work for me because I don't meditate well. I can't stop the spinning. But this works really well. If I listen to really loud music in my car for a half hour and just drive around, that's my meditation. And that's for me, that's a personal story. Like, I can't meditate. I can't slow it down and quiet it. But boy, when I turn on music really loud and it's hard music, it pulls it all out of my head.
Yeah. And I think that idea that you were just pointing to, Lisa, that it's, you get to define for yourself, I think both things, and those two things being, one, what are the drivers of your well-being? What is right for you? So I have a funny little, inside share here for me. I am a pretty heavy thrift queen.
Love
I am a
that.
serious thrift store shopper.
Love that.
I am at my best when I am able to get to a thrift store a couple times a week,
Mm-hmm.
because I just put in my AirPods with a nice cold drink next to me, and I just flip through those racks, and I somehow just get into a zone that is very meditative.
Yeah.
So you get to decide what is right for you, for your drivers of well-being. And it could, for me, it's thrifting. It is getting out and camping. It is being outside in nature like that, and really focusing on my sleep.
Yes.
Right. I'm not prioritizing meditation right now. I'm barely prioritizing exercise. I'm doing a tiny bit of yoga, and I think, we're always simultaneously being, a little bit gentle with ourselves and kind of striving for the next thing. And that might be a micro self-care habit. It might be a micro well-being habit. Like, you know what, for the most part, I'm not going to take phone calls when I'm driving in between appointments.
Yes.
And that would be a micro shift that I make to support my nervous system and my anxiety level and my focus and my presence. And that's a tiny shift,
Right.
you know? And then we also get to create the measures of success.
Right.
So though, society thinks that entrepreneurs are only obsessed with cash and profit.
Right.
But the research shows that entrepreneurs are actually quite obsessed with, making social contributions by being an employer and can know they're contributing to people's lives, and putting how people are putting food on the table for their families. They really care about being their own boss. They really care about, just making an impact. There's a whole model that underpinned my research that was all about the different kinds of subjective. So over here with me, not out there in the world, but my measures of success.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
And to that point, it really does kind of take a consultant or
Yeah.
a business coach or
Yes.
a good friend to pull that out of you.
Yes.
Because otherwise, in fast-paced world, you're just like, trying to figure it all out. But providing a little bit of structure definitely helps.
The anchor. It's the
Yeah.
anchor to, because again, by nature, entrepreneurs are up in the clouds. Like, I hate to tell you guys, but pulling an entrepreneur down back to earth and going, okay, you have to focus on self-care, that, the other, it's really tough because we're up here, we're doing things.
And there's not enough time.
And there's not enough time.
That's always, there's never enough time and there's never enough money.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So true.
And that's, yeah.
Basically, that's the research too.
Good grief.
That's the hallmark of small business. So everyone who's listening, who's a small business owner, the hallmark of small business is resource scarcity.
Yeah.
There's just never enough resources, as compared to a large corporation where there's waste and there's fluff and an employee can hide and
yes.
you can't do that.
I always say that, like, it's the more layers you have, the more you can hide.
That's right. You can't do that in small business.
Yeah.
There's this constant resource scarcity. And so how do you as a business owner, get control of that, tame it, take care of yourself so that you can manage that effectively?
Yeah. It's not easy. But
it's not easy, but it's super fun.
It's super
fun.
fun.
So rewarding.
And one foot in front of each other.
That's right.
That's
right.
Well, and surrounding yourself with people like yourself and people that are honest with you and can mentor your, and really do care about you. And that's what, again, I know we keep singing Erin's praises, but Erin has been that person for us. She's cared about us, genuinely cared about us. So it's easy, to say you can find somebody like that, but it's hard to find that person. And, it is critical. I think that, again, for anybody, whether you're a business owner or you're an employee or you're a mom, having that trusted confidant is critical. And it can't be your husband. It can't be your partner. It has to be somebody outside of your situation, to give you the real tough advice and the tough love sometimes.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we stop listening to those people, even though they're saying the same thing that I say.
Right.
Yes.
How often has
different.
That's right. How often has a client gone home and they've talked to their spouse and the spouse is rolling their eyes like, I have been telling you that for 10 years.
It happens with me at home all the time. Andy's like, figure it out. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do the same thing to him too.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
Well, this conversation has been great. And I think
amazing.
We can go ahead and move into our lightning round.
Oh, let's bring it.
So Angela has this thing. She loves to put our guests on the spot for the last 5 minutes and do these rapid fire questions.
We need a little intro.
I kind of love it.
We need a little
Yes.
jingle.
Ooh,
a jingle intro.
Yes. Eli, you've got 2 weeks to get a jingle.
Remy, that's something that we're going to have to figure out, apparently, it sounds like.
Remy's
I like
giving me
it.
a dirty look.
Remy's been walking on I didn't sign up for nothing.
Eli's like, I've got 2 weeks left. I'm out.
Let the new guy figure
it out.
Okay.
All right.
All
Rapid
right.
fire.
All right, let's go. Question number 1. One book that you think every woman entrepreneur should read.
A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson.
Okay.
Why?
It's not a business book.
Yeah.
But it is. But
what is it about that book?
It's about spirituality and all of the profound significance that's all around us and the healing nature of the healing opportunities and the relationships that show up in our life. It's based on A Course in Miracles, which is a kind of a spiritual, let's say a spiritual philosophy.
So say the name of it again.
A Return to Love.
I feel
by
like
Marianne Williamson.
It's an older book, isn't it? It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody recommended that book to me like 25 years ago.
It's brilliant and beautiful.
Yeah, and I still haven't read it because I don't have any time.
Exactly.
But
get that audiobook. Get that audio version.
If Erin Joy says so, I'm going to read it. I will put it on audio. Audiobook's a great idea.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, not so lightning when Lisa gets involved.
No, it's all good.
Go,
it's all
Angela,
good.
go.
Okay. What's something that surprised you during your PhD journey?
Something that surprised me during my PhD journey. Gosh, there are so many things, but I think just how much opportunity there is for entrepreneurs when they get more business training, more business support, when they expand their research, how much their goals can accelerate, and just how much there is that tells us this is the path forward here. Like, this is not such a mystery. Just take these steps, and we're going to take this thing to the next level.
Kind of playing off that question, I have a secondary question to that. Who's the first person, as an entrepreneur, who's the first person you should bring into your tent professionally?
I don't know. It's hard to say first because you absolutely have to have multiple parties at play.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a great banker, a great attorney, an HR advisor. You have to have a great marketing consultant, by your hand, by your right hand, and definitely have to have, a business coach or consultant, that trusted advisor. The more just the more support you have around you, the better business results you're going to have, and the faster they'll come. And that is supported in the research.
Got it.
Amazing. Okay.
Carry on.
Favorite way to reset after a long day?
Well, we already talked about thrifting.
Yes.
Yes. Love that.
I mean, you're going to find me at all the local Goodwills with a cart full of things.
What's your number one item that you look for?
I have a vintage crystal collection. So
Love
I
that.
usually make a beeline to the crystal and have all kinds of, nonsensical crystal items, spread out all over my home.
That's so fun.
They're just fun for me.
Love that. Love that so much.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Finish the sentence. The future of women in business is
so great. It's so great. Women are just getting more and more powerful, and I think more and more recognized, and unleashing ourselves. And so the future is so great. Right now, the research shows that only 2% of women-owned businesses ever break $1 million in annual sales. There's a lot of reasons why that is the case, including our broken patriarchal structure,
right,
and the lack of childcare,
which is a whole new
episode.
Right? Yeah.
But there's a lot of reasons, and including women's drive to care for others, and lots of reasons why that's the case. I think that number is going to increase more and more in the coming years as women are breaking out of societal norms that have been oppressive.
Interesting. I love that. That's a really good thought. So is that 2% of women entrepreneurs, or just women business?
Women-owned businesses.
Women-owned businesses. Okay. Good. Thank you. That was very helpful. Well, unfortunately, I think our time is coming to a close. So we wanted to thank you for your insight.
Is there anything else that you want our readers? Oh my God, where am I? Our listeners to remember, follow Erin at erinjoy.com.
Yep.
Okay. And social media is?
At Erin Joy or at Erin Joy Talks Business.
Yeah. And reach out to Erin. If you have a pressing business question, she's amazing and you should reach out to her.
And with that, we thank you for your time. We know you're busy and we really appreciate you being here.
So appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for your
so many
friendship
more
and your
conversations.
Companionship. And, I'm so grateful that we are on this business and midlife woman entrepreneurial journey together.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you
listeners.
so much.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Who needs a vacation? Are you ready for an unforgettable getaway? Start packing your bags because Branson, Missouri, the vacation and entertainment capital of the U.S., is calling your name. For just $99 per person, here's what you get. A full 3-day